Y'all, I'm back and today I am making a traditional cornbread dressing, and today I'm going to use a breakfast pork sausage. It's kind of got a sweet taste to it, and then also we're using some andouille sausage, fresh, and we baked it earlier in our oven. And we also have our cornbread ready. So it's cornbread dressing, you got to already have some cornbread ready. So one of the keys to making this is to have everything already cooked, so when you're ready to put it all together, you can put it in one pot and then mix it. So in my big pot here, this is like a 5-quart pot. I have 4 tablespoons of butter. I have a cup of chopped onions, finely chopped onions, and red bell pepper because I like the color, and some finely chopped celery, and I have some garlic, and I'm gonna mince that. These are 4 little pods here. So that's our first start. First, you usually make a roux, but we don't need a roux for this, but we do need our Cajun Trinity. So we'll get these going, sauteed, and then we'll add in our meats and chicken broth. So earlier today we cooked all kinds of sausage because we wanted some for supper. So we had Italian sausage, chorizo, and andouille sausage. So we're going to use the andouille sausage in our cornbread dressing. So I'll put these up for later. Okay, so now I need to chop up the andouille sausage so it's similar to our pork breakfast sausage. Want to make it into clumps. All right, y'all, these vegetables are good and, oops, good and cooked. And that butter just gives it a whole nother flavor. I'm gonna go ahead and toss in my minced garlic before I forget. Get that mixed well. And then I have my andouille sausage here. I did chop it in. And we have, this was a pound of the bulk breakfast sausage, or you can usually buy it like Jimmy Dean sausage. I think it's in a tube or something. But sausage in here. Now this is spicy. You can also substitute this with a pound of ground beef or ground chicken or any other kind of meat. But since we're making this with andouille sausage, I cut it up small. So those are already cooked, so I don't really need to cook them. I just want to get everybody mixed up together really well. Okay, next up, and I have this on low. Next up, I have my cornbread here, and I've been kind of chopping it a little. So you just want to chop it up, or you can crumble it with your hands if you want to. But I've just been chopping it up. And we're going to put a little bit at a time. And then we'll put 1 cup of stock. Put some cornbread and 1 cup of stock until we have the consistency we're looking for. So you ready? Here we go. Up. So I got some Crisco here. You could use butter, or I just not crazy about using spray oil anymore. So I'm just gonna coat the bottom and the sides really well. Just take a clean paper towel. And this is how I do my cake pans too. All right. Easy peasy. All right, so we measured out the 3 cups of chicken broth. It was perfect. Because you want this to be like a thick batter. Almost like when I'm making brownies. It's just kind of thick. So, I'm going to spoon this in here. This is almost going to be like an entree. There's so much meat in here. Which is fine with me at Thanksgiving because I don't like turkey. Oh no! I'll put it on top.
What?
The sage and the parsley. I'll just put it on top. I think it might fit, boss. Okay, y'all. I have my oven preheated to 325. I'm gonna put this in the oven covered for 35 to 45, so we'll check it at 40. So if you're using an aluminum pan, you know what? Cover it with some aluminum foil. Duh, mama. So I'm gonna put this in, we'll see you later. Okay, y'all, it's been a little over an hour and I can't wait to taste this dressing. I think it looks perfect. It has browning on the top. I put a spoon in it and it came out almost clean, so it is not mushy. I'm so excited. We had to take a picture first, so before I got my spoon up in here. So I'm gonna put a little in here, just so I can taste it for you guys. So with that sausage and that breakfast sausage, it really has a great flavor. It's hot. It's a winner. I gotta go eat. And again, very versatile. You can use whatever meat you desire. If it's ground meat and pork sausage, I've done that. That's usually how I do it. But this is wonderful, and it'll be so pretty on your holiday table. And tonight we are making a green bean casserole. This is one of Mike's favorites. So we have our ingredients here. We have about a cup of seasoning blend, which is the frozen onion, celery, bell pepper. So easy. Mike was able to go out today and get me some cream of mushroom soup. We also have 2 links of the fresh Italian sausage, some baby red potatoes, probably about 1.5 pounds. And then he got a 2-pound bag of these fresh, beautiful green beans. So I'm gonna put this all together for our green bean casserole. And the first thing, I heated about 2 tablespoons of olive oil here, and we're gonna saute the onion, celery, and bell pepper. And while that's heating up, I'm gonna take our Italian sausage and get it out of this casing. So I just take a really sharp paring knife and slice through that casing in order to really get a bulk sausage. Sometimes he can find the bulk sausage, so he'll just buy me that, but other times they only have it already in the casing. So it's really easy to get out if that's all you can find at the market. Okay, so I'm gonna let this heat up another minute, and then I'm gonna throw the sausage in there and start to brown that sausage, and this will give our green beans and potatoes a really good flavor. Well, our onion, celery, and bell pepper is started a little bit of sizzle here, so I'm gonna go ahead and add in the Italian sausage. Already took the casing off. I'm gonna put that in there. Oops, don't get wily on me. Get in there. And then I have my flat spatula here, and I'm just gonna chop it up and brown this Italian sausage. Okay, y'all, I need to quarter the little baby red potatoes, and then I'll need to cut these green beans. So all I'm gonna do with the baby reds is cut it into quarters. That's it. Easy peasy. All right, beautiful green beans in here, fresh green beans. So much better than out the can. So much better. And they say they're pre-washed, but you know what? I'm just gonna wash them again, just to be sure. And these are already trimmed. So all I'm gonna do is rinse these in some good cold water, and then I'm going to cut them, and you can either cut them with a knife or the old-fashioned way. I just cut them in half. If they're too long, I'll break them into 3, or take a good old knife and cut them, but usually this size looks like it's just gonna be in half. So I'll get that done, and then I'll have everything prepped and ready to go. All right, our meat is brown. We've got it all chopped up, looking good. Right before we came on, I did do 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, the kind in the jar. Or you can just do 1 big fresh pod cut up or minced. I have a garlic mincer. So whatever your preference. So first thing, I'm gonna put in some chicken broth. Probably about half of it right now, but we'll see. Oop, might as well do it all. It's gonna need it. This is a 6-quart pot. So I have enough room to move around. So I'm gonna put first our cut up and washed potatoes, red potatoes. A minute, so it's time to put the green beans in. And that was 2 pounds of green beans. Got an escapee. So here I have like a half teaspoon of salt, Tony Chachere's Cajun seasoning, and I also did some fresh cracked black pepper. Put all that in there, give it a good tossing around, and I'm gonna set the timer for about 10 minutes because these are pretty thick green beans. Folks, we're back. It's been about 20 minutes that we allowed these green beans to cook. So now they're soft just the way we like them. If you want to go 10 minutes, that's good. I mean, they were cooked, but they were still a little tough to me. So I cooked them another 10 minutes. So next step is I'm gonna drain these green beans and new potatoes in a colander in the sink, and then we'll mix in our soup. All right, so I have a package here. It's 12 ounces of condensed cream of mushroom soup. You're probably more familiar with the kind that comes in the can, but so I'm just gonna pour that in there. Give this a big toss around. Try not to tear it up while I'm at it. And I'm also gonna add a cup of milk. Now I have the oven on 375. It's been preheated. And we have our casserole. This is the casserole dish we always use. I need to get all of this into my casserole dish. Take me a second. Okay, next up, I still had some because there was a lot. So I'm gonna put this in our preheated oven at 375, and we'll come right back and show you what we have. Alrighty, folks, we have a green bean casserole, and for us, it's not just a side dish, it's gonna be dinner. But I just wanted to point this out. Usually you have like the French crunchy onions on top. That's the traditional way. But we are in the actual social distancing lockdown, And so my pantry has limited resources. So the old favorite is grated cheese. So I melted some cheese on top, which will be good with those green beans and potatoes as well. Okay, so we're back, and home style mashed potatoes are really, really simple. So if you're buying them in the in the box with the flakes, that's terrible. And I used to do it. So I got no room to talk, but I did actually do that at one time. So typically we're in our kind of social distancing time. So typically Mike would buy me a 5-pound bag of white potatoes. He couldn't get that today, so I would typically do 2 potatoes per person or per serving. Because the smaller ones are about half this size. So since he couldn't do that, he got me some bakers. So I have 4 of them here. So we'll peel these. I'll cut them into cubes. And then I've got some water set to boil here. It's on high. So let's get to peeling these potatoes. Okay, the key to peeling potatoes or other vegetables is to have a good vegetable peeler with a sharp blade, and it makes it so easy. Now, I used to be afraid of these things because I didn't really understand how it worked. But once you get the hang of it, you never want to go back to a paring knife and doing it like this, because it just takes too much more. It takes a lot more effort. So I'll peel these, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what I do next. Okay, so next up I have to take the potatoes and kind of quarter them and cut them into chunks, but I wanted to show you I really never knew what this was until finally I figured it out. But there's always on the vegetable peeler a little kind of divot hole right here. Some of them are a little hole, some of them are like this kind of shaped. But I didn't know what it was for. And then I saw somebody use it one day. And so if I have little spots or the little potato eyes, it's to take out those little bad spots. So there you got that. And there's a little hole right there. So you got it out. So just a tip for you. So good sharp knife. Cut these. If I just had the smaller white potatoes, it would probably be just quarters. So I'm gonna have to cut these up. So kind of like that.
Tell us about your people.
About my people? What about my people?
About how a couple of your cousins shot each other over some Christmas decorations.
I don't want to talk about that. That's just embarrassing right there. Well, I do want to mention this before we take a break, is we use white potatoes in mashed potatoes like this. A red potato is something I would use for smashing the potatoes, where I'm just kind of doing it by hand, throwing in some garlic and butter. And then red potatoes I also use when we have like a crab boil or we're boiling shrimp. And then you just put butter and all the fixings on that. Did I say potato salad?
Ain't said tater salad yet.
Tater salad, yes. Mike's famous potato salad, we do use red potatoes for that as well. Because again, once they're cooked, they have a different kind of density to them. I don't know how to describe it, but a white potato gets very mushy. So I'll finish cutting these, and I'm still waiting for that water to boil. And I'll rinse these in some water too. So I've got my water, it's almost to a good boil. I have it on high on this little burner. So we rinsed our potatoes, they look great. And I'm just gonna carefully put these into our hot water, and we'll get it to a good boil. And when it gets to that boil, I'm gonna time it for about 10 minutes. All right, so I drained the water out of these potatoes, obviously, and they're cooked. It was about 10 minutes, and you just kind of pierce through them. And now what I need to do is I got my big mixer out, but what I used to do is just take the same pot that I boiled the potatoes in and use my hand mixer to do the same thing I'm about to do in this big one. So if you don't have a big one, it's okay. Get your hand mixer out. So I hate to dirty another bowl, but I just got to. I'm gonna dump my potatoes in here. There we go. And to this, I have a half a stick of butter. I just cut it into slices.
Ain't much butter.
I have sour cream here. This is about a half a cup. I do need some of this milk, maybe not all of it. And I have a half a teaspoon of salt. Here we go. Okay, Mike Stokes, mashed potatoes coming up to go with your meatloaf. You ready? Just gonna mash it down and lock it. Now let's try and stir it. There it goes. You wanna come look in here? You just sitting there like a lump on the log? All right, y'all, we got some mashed potatoes, right? Oh my gosh, they're so creamy. I love mashed potatoes. I think I love mashed potatoes better than baked potatoes. How about you? Especially when you got some good gravy. Ooh. What else you want me to say?
That's it.
That's it. All right, it's a wrap. Hope everyone's well. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
It's a wrap.